Admiral Vexitai stood in the command center of the Zephyrian home fleet, watching his forces retreat from another lost battle. The blue-skinned alien commander's hands shook as he received the latest reports. 47 ships destroyed, 15,000 of his people dead. The Korthak Empire was winning this war, and they both knew it. The Zephyrians were a peaceful race. For 3,000 years they had never fought a real war. Their technology was advanced. They could travel between stars, heal diseases that killed other species, and create energy shields that could stop most weapons. But none of that mattered now. The Korthaks didn't care about peace treaties or surrender offers. They just wanted to conquer and kill. "Sir," called out Lieutenant Kavas from the communication station, "we're receiving another demand from the Korthak fleet. They want us to surrender all remaining military vessels, or they'll destroy our colonies." Vexitai closed his eyes. The Korthaks had already destroyed 12 Zephyrian worlds. Billions of innocent people were dead. The survivors lived in fear, hiding in underground shelters or fleeing to distant systems. This wasn't how wars were supposed to work. Where were the negotiations? Where were the rules? "How long until their main fleet reaches our homeworld?" Vexitai asked. 6 days, sir, maybe 7 if we can slow them down." 6 days. Vexitai looked at the tactical display showing their remaining forces. 80 ships against the Korthak's 300. It would be a massacre. The Zephyrian collective, 7 peaceful species working together for mutual benefit, would cease to exist. "Sir?" Kavas spoke again, his voice nervous. "I have an idea. It's against regulations." "Tell me." 3 months ago, we intercepted some transmissions from a system called Sol. The beings there call themselves humans. They seem to be from what the galactic databases classify as a death world. Vextai's breathing stopped. Every civilized species knew about Deathworlders. They were the monsters that evolution created on the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. High gravity, toxic atmospheres, predator-rich environments that turned any surviving intelligent life into living weapons. No civilized government ever contacted Deathworlders. It was the first rule of galactic politics. "Are you insane?" Vexitai whispered. "Sir, I analyzed their transmissions. They have something called movies that show their military capabilities. They fight wars constantly. They have weapons that can destroy entire cities. They actually enjoy combat, sir. They make entertainment about it." Vexitai stared at his subordinate. "You want us to contact a species of natural-born killers and ask them to help us fight a war? Sir, we're going to die anyway. At least this way. Maybe some of our people survive." The Admiral walked to the main display, showing the beautiful blue and green world where he had been born. In 6 days, it would be a burning ruin if he did nothing. The Korthaks didn't take prisoners. They didn't negotiate. They just killed everything that wasn't them. "Show me these transmissions," Vexitai said quietly. Kavas activated the display. Vexitai watched in growing amazement as the humans demonstrated their military technology. Their weapons were crude compared to Zephyrian energy systems, but they were devastating. More importantly, the humans seemed to think war was normal. They had multiple military branches, career soldiers, and something called a military-industrial complex that existed just to make better weapons. One transmission showed human soldiers in training. Vexitai watched them carry heavy equipment, across rough terrain, fight in dangerous conditions, and continue working even when injured. These beings were built for war in a way that no Zephyrian could understand. "They're monsters," whispered another officer who had joined them. "Yes," Vexitai agreed, "but they're monsters who might help us." The decision went against everything the Zephyrian collective believed in. Their entire civilization was built on the idea that intelligent beings could solve problems through communication and cooperation. Contacting a Deathworld species was like inviting a predator into your home. But the Korthaks had already proven that some species couldn't be reasoned with. "Compose a message," Vexitai ordered. "Keep it simple. Tell them we're a peaceful civilization, under attack. Tell them we'll share our technology if they help us fight our enemies." "Sir, what if they decide we're also enemies?" Kavas asked. Vexitai looked at the tactical display again. 80 ships against 300, his people hiding in shelters waiting to die. Children who would never grow up if he did nothing. Then we die fighting monsters instead of dying helplessly, he said. At least that's more honorable. The message was sent on a tight beam transmission toward the Sol system. It would take 2 days to reach Earth, assuming the humans had technology capable of receiving it. The message was simple. Peaceful civilization under attack by aggressive empire. Request. Military assistance will provide advanced technology in exchange for protection. Please respond quickly. Time is running out. Vextai didn't sleep for the next 48 hours. He kept thinking about what they had done. The Zephyrian collective had survived for millennia by avoiding conflict. Now they were asking the galaxy's most dangerous species to come and fight their war. When the response came, it was even simpler than their request. Message received. Help is coming. Stay alive. Vextai stared at those words for a long time. 5 words from a species they had never met, promising to travel across the galaxy to fight beings they had never seen, to protect people they knew nothing about. What have we done? He whispered to himself. But it was too late to change their minds. Somewhere in the darkness of space, the humans were coming. Vextai just hoped his people would survive long enough to meet them. And he secretly hoped they would still be alive to regret this decision afterward. The human ship Redemption moved through space like a giant metal whale. On the bridge, Lieutenant Commander Jake Morrison looked at the alien help signal that had just reached their long-distance sensors. The ship was on a normal exploration mission when the desperate cry for help cut through the emptiness. "It's not from any human ship, sir," said Communications Officer Lisa Grant, her hands moving fast over her control panel. "The signal pattern looks like it comes from the Vithrak people. They're about 40,000 kilometers away, floating dead in space." Captain Ryan Cole was a tough man with gray hair and kind eyes. He had fought in many space battles but always tried to make peace first. The humans had been trying to talk with other alien species for many years, but most aliens ran away when they saw human ships. "They're probably hoping anyone except us hears that signal," said Chief Engineer Ben Parker from his workstation. "Can't really blame them. The stories they tell about us out there are mostly lies," Cole said firmly. "We know what the galaxy thinks about us. Time to show them they're wrong. Set course for their location. Full speed." Dr. Amy Richardson was the ship's alien expert. She pulled up everything they knew about the Vithrak on her computer screen. "They hate fighting, Captain. Their whole culture is about peace and getting along with everyone. They probably think we're going to kill and eat them." "Then we need to be very careful how we approach them," Cole replied. "Jake, get a rescue team ready. Medical supplies, repair tools, food makers. Show them we're here to help, not hurt them." Jake Morrison had been in space for 10 years. He was tall and strong but had a gentle voice. He knew this mission would be different from any other. The Vithrak were probably scared to death right now. "Lisa, can you translate their language?" Jake asked. "A little bit," she said. "But it's really hard. They make sounds we can barely hear." The Redemption was a rescue ship, not a warship. It had medical rooms, repair workshops, and food labs. The crew of 200 humans were trained to save lives, not take them. But the galaxy didn't know that. All they knew were the scary stories. Dr. Richardson read more about the Vithrak. "They're small and weak, Jake. Their bones break easily. They've never had a war in their whole history. They must be terrified." Jake picked his rescue team carefully. He chose Medic Danny Hayes, a young man who was good with scared patients. Engineer Kate Phillips was small and could fix anything. Linguist Alex Turner had studied alien languages his whole life. "No weapons," Jake told his team. "Only medical kits and repair tools. We need to show them we're friends." The 4 humans got ready for the rescue mission. They put on their space suits and checked their equipment. Medical scanners, emergency medicine, welding tools, spare parts for ship engines. Everything they needed to save lives and fix broken things. "Remember," Captain Cole told them over the radio, "they think we're monsters. Move slowly, speak softly, and keep your hands where they can see them. These people are scared of us." The Redemption flew through space toward the broken alien ship. Inside the bridge, the humans watched their screens and prepared for first contact with a species that thought they were the most dangerous thing in the universe. "How long until we reach them?" Cole asked. 2 hours, said Navigator Tom Wright. "Their life support is failing fast. If we don't hurry, they'll all be dead." Jake looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, aliens were dying and scared. They had asked for help and the humans were coming. But instead of being happy, the aliens would probably be terrified. "It's not fair," said Danny Hayes. "We try so hard to be good, but everyone thinks we're evil." "That's because they don't know us," Jake replied. "Maybe after today, at least some of them will." The rescue team went to the transport bay. Their small ship was loaded with everything they might need. As they prepared to launch, Jake thought about what they were about to do. This wasn't just a rescue mission. This was a chance to show the galaxy that humans weren't monsters. "Ready, team?" Jake asked. "Ready," they all said together. The Redemption dropped out of fast travel near the alien ship. Through the windows, they could see the broken vessel leaking blue light into space. It looked like a dying animal, beautiful but hurt. "There they are," whispered Lisa Grant. "The poor things must be so scared." Captain Cole stood up from his chair. "Jake, you're cleared for rescue operations. Show them what humans are really like." The small rescue ship launched from the Redemption and flew toward the alien vessel. Inside, 4 humans carried hope instead of weapons, ready to save lives instead of taking them. But the aliens waiting for them had no idea what was really coming. The Vithrak crew huddled together in the middle of their dying ship. Warning sounds filled the air as their computers detected another ship coming closer. Through their clear living walls, they watched in horror as a huge metal ship appeared from the darkness. The human ship was covered in scars from old battles, and they could see weapon holes all over its armored skin. "Deathworlders," whispered Captain Zelnara, her voice so quiet they could barely hear her. "We are all going to die." The human ship was twice as big as their research vessel. It moved like a hunting animal as it came alongside their broken ship. Takmar's equipment showed scanning beams washing over their hull, checking every weak spot, every place where they could be hurt. "They're looking at us like we're food," cried Engineer Nixtal, his glowing patches flickering with pure terror. Then something happened that shocked them completely. A voice came through their radio speaking their language. The words were rough and hard to understand, but it was definitely trying to speak Vithrak. "This is Lieutenant Commander Morrison of the Earthship Redemption. We got your help signal. Do you need assistance?" The aliens stared at each other in disbelief. The Deathworlder was trying to speak their language. His voice was deep and scary, but he was asking if they needed help. It felt like a trap. Zelnara knew that showing weakness to a predator was probably suicide. But 3 of her crew were already unconscious from breathing bad air, and their ship's living systems were shutting down one by one. She had no choice. "We have critical damage," she finally sent back. "But we do not want to bother you." "No bother," came Morrison's reply. "We're ready to give emergency help. Can we come to your ship?" The Vithrak crew looked at each other with terror in their eyes. Stories filled their minds of human boarding parties, of species enslaved or eaten alive. But as another life support alarm started beeping, Zelnara made the only choice she could. "You may come," she whispered. The waiting was the worst part. They knew the humans were preparing to board their ship. The crew pressed themselves against the far walls, trying to hide. Some were crying. Others were praying to their gods. All of them expected to die. When light flashed in their docking tube, the Vithrak held their breath. Heavy footsteps echoed through their ship. The Deathworlders were coming. But when the humans finally appeared, the Vithrak saw something that confused them completely. Jake Morrison was tall and muscular, just like the stories said, but he moved slowly and kept his hands open where they could see them. Behind him came 3 other humans. One immediately went to the unconscious Vithrak without being asked, pulling out a medical scanner. Another headed straight for their failing life support systems with repair tools in her hands. "We're here to help," Morrison said gently in their language. His pronunciation was bad, but they could understand him. "What do you need most?" The 4th human, A smaller man with kind eyes spoke to them in perfect Vithrak. His voice was soft and musical, just like their own people. "My name is Alex. I've studied your beautiful language for years. We know you're afraid of us, but we promise we won't hurt you." Danny Hayes, the medic, was already working on the sick Vithrak. He moved his hands carefully and spoke in a quiet voice to the unconscious aliens. "It's okay," he said. "I'm going to help you feel better." Kate Phillips was crawling inside their ship's living walls, trying to fix the broken systems. She was covered in the ship's blue blood but didn't seem to care. Her hands moved quickly and surely as she worked to save their vessel. "Your life support is badly damaged," she called out. "But I can fix it, just give me some time." The Vithrak watched in amazement. These were supposed to be the most dangerous killers in the galaxy, but they were acting like doctors and engineers, like people who cared about saving lives. "Alex." Turner knelt down next to a frightened young Vithrak named Pixel. She was shaking with fear, her big eyes wide with terror. Alex spoke to her in gentle Vithrak words. "Don't be scared, little one. We're here to help your ship. Do you like stories? I know some good ones about my home world." Pixel stared at him. This Deathworlder was trying to comfort her. He wasn't showing his teeth or making threatening sounds. He was just being nice. Jake Morrison walked over to Captain Zelnara. She pressed herself against the wall, expecting him to grab her or hurt her. Instead, he stopped a safe distance away and spoke quietly. "Captain, we're going to fix your ship and save your crew. We don't want anything from you, we just want to help." "Why?" Zelnara whispered. "The stories say your kind are monsters." Morrison looked sad when she said this. "I know what the stories say, but they're wrong. We're not monsters. We're just people trying to do the right thing." As the humans worked, the Vithrak slowly began to relax. Danny was saving their sick crew members with medicines that worked better than anything they had. Kate was fixing systems that they thought were beyond repair. Alex was telling stories to the scared crew members, making them laugh instead of cry. "I don't understand," Takamar whispered to his captain. "They could kill us all easily. Why are they helping us?" Zelnara watched Jake Morrison working alongside her engineer to repair their main power system. The human was careful not to touch anything without asking first. He was gentle with their living ship, treating it like something precious instead of just a machine. "I don't know," she whispered back. "But maybe the stories are wrong." For the first time since the humans had arrived, the Vithrak began to hope that they might actually survive this encounter. And more than that, they began to wonder if everything they thought they knew about Deathworlders was completely wrong. Thabi, humans worked without stopping, racing against time to save a ship full of aliens who had been terrified of them. And slowly, that terror was turning into something else entirely. Over the next 6 hours, the Vithrak crew watched in complete amazement as the humans worked without stopping to save their ship. Kate Phillips crawled through narrow spaces that were too small for her body, squeezing into tight areas to reach broken parts that the Vithrak couldn't fix. Danny Hayes used human medicine to help the sick crew members, and somehow his treatments worked better than their own doctors could manage. But it was the small things that really changed how the Vithrak felt about these supposed monsters. When young Pixel became scared during her medical treatment, Danny sat with her for 30 minutes. He told her stories about Earth's blue oceans and flying creatures until she stopped crying and started smiling. Kate shared her food packets with hungry Vithrak, even though the human food wasn't made for their stomachs. Jake Morrison took over the most dangerous job of sealing the hole in their ship's hull, putting himself in deadly radiation that would have killed any Vithrak instantly. "This doesn't make sense," whispered scientist Valeth to her captain. "They should be hurting us, not helping us." Zelnara watched Jake Morrison working beside her own engineer to fix their power systems. The human was careful not to break anything. He asked permission before touching their equipment. He treated their living ship like something precious, not like a machine. "The stories were wrong," she said quietly. "All of them." As the repairs continued, The Vithrak began to talk with the humans. Alex Turner spoke their language perfectly, and he was eager to learn about their culture. He asked about their art, their music, their families back home. The other humans listened too, asking questions that showed they really cared. "Tell me about your homeworld," Alex said to young Pixel as Danny checked her health one more time. "What's it like there?" Pixel's eyes lit up. "Oh, it's beautiful. We have singing trees that make music when the wind blows, and crystal, rivers that glow at night, and the sky is always purple with 3 moons." "That sounds wonderful," Alex said with a smile. "I'd love to see it someday." "Really?" Pixel asked, surprised. "You'd want to visit us?" "Of course," Alex replied. "Your people sound amazing." The little Vithrak looked confused. But we're weak. We can't fight. We're not brave like you." Danny Hayes looked up from his medical equipment. "Being brave isn't about fighting," he said gently. "It's about exploring the unknown like you do. It's about helping others, like your captain tried to do by calling for help. You're braver than you think." As the ship's systems came back online and the air became clean again, Zelnara found herself talking with Jake Morrison. They stood together, looking out at the stars through a repaired window. "Why do you do this?" she asked him. "The whole galaxy fears you. You could take anything you wanted from us. You could make us your slaves. But you don't. Why?" Jake was quiet for a long time, thinking about her question. "My people learned something important a long time ago, Captain. Our world tried to kill us every single day. Bad weather, dangerous animals, diseases, earthquakes, volcanoes. Everything on Earth wanted us dead. But we survived because we learned to help each other. We learned that working together was the only way to stay alive." He pointed toward his team, who were still working with the Vithrak to finish the repairs. "That feeling never left us. When we hear someone calling for help, we have to answer. It doesn't matter if they're human or not. It doesn't matter if they're afraid of us. If someone needs help, we help them." Alex Turner heard them talking and came over. He spoke in perfect Vithrak, his voice soft and musical. "Your stories say, we're monsters because we come from a death world. But you have it backwards. We're not monsters because of our world. We're protectors because of it. Our world taught us that life is precious and fragile. That's why we fight so hard to save it." Kate Phillips wiped grease from her hands and joined the conversation. "Every species thinks we're scary because we're strong and tough, but they don't understand why we became that way. We became strong to protect the weak. We became tough so we could survive and help others survive too." Danny Hayes finished packing his medical supplies and walked over to them. "On Earth, we have a saying, 'The strong protect the weak.' It's not about ruling over others. It's about using your strength to help those who can't help themselves." As the gentle current's engines hummed back to life and all systems showed green, Zelnara realized something incredible. The humans had asked for nothing in return for their help. No payment, no territory, no promises of trade deals. They had risked their lives to save complete strangers who had been terrified of them. "The galaxy needs to know the truth," she told Jake as the human team prepared to return to their ship. "They need to know what you really are." Jake smiled, but it was a sad smile. "They won't believe it if it comes from us. We've tried to tell them before. But maybe they'll believe it if it comes from you." "I will tell everyone," Zelnara promised. "I will make sure they know that humans are not monsters. You are, what's the word? Guardians. Protectors. Just people trying to do the right thing," Jake said quietly. As the human team prepared to leave, each Vithrak crew member came to say goodbye. They were no longer afraid. Some were even crying because the humans were leaving. Little Pixel hugged Alex Turner's leg. "Will I see you again?" she asked. "Maybe someday," Alex replied, kneeling down to her level. "And if you ever need help again, just call. We'll come." "Promise?" she asked. "Promise," he said. As the two ships separated and prepared to go their different ways, Zelnara began writing a message to the Galactic Council. She would tell them about a species so strong they had conquered the deadliest world in the galaxy, but so kind they used that strength only to protect others who couldn't. Protect themselves. The humans, she would write, weren't the monsters everyone feared. They were the heroes everyone needed. Captain Cole watched the alien ship disappear into hyperspace. "Think they'll spread the word about us?" he asked Jake. "Maybe," Jake replied. "But even if they don't, we keep doing what we do. We keep answering the calls for help. That's who we are." In the darkness of space, more distress signals were already reaching human ships. And somewhere out there, other aliens were still praying their emergency calls would reach anyone except the terrifying Deathworlders. They had no idea how lucky they were about to become.